Since the Miller era seasons are coming to an end, we reach season 16, the last narrations for both Michael Brandon and Michael Angelis. How good is season 16 and their episodes? We're finding out right now by watching the season 16 ranking video. I hope you enjoy. Alright, here is season 16, the last season of the Miller era. Let's see how good these episodes are. Starting off with Race to the Rescue is a very bad start. There's nothing new with the plot and segments. There's nothing new with this whole episode. It's just Flynn is worried about if he's going to be late to the fire. He's a fire engine. He can ride both road and rail. How is that even possible? This episode is really bad. Probably the worst one so far, but I don't know. Because of that, I kind of like Flynn, but he gets teased by Diesel, even though if he's busy with a lot of stuff. That was probably in the very first episode of Flynn, in the last episode of season 15. Let's not talk about that. I want to show you some examples about this. This is an odd one on how Flynn is, I don't know. Flynn is just really, really dumb. I mean, Flynn doesn't want to miss the fire or waste any water as well to help Butch and Birdie. He could still help them, even though if he doesn't have time to do so. I mean, the fire isn't that bad though. I mean, what else would I do? Well, off to a very bad start. I seriously didn't want to give it a prop though, but I can't think clearly. What else would happen if I didn't really collect that many? This is really bad right now, and I'm starting to think this is not going to go well clearly. I forget every time. I think Old Wheezy Wobbles is a good one because it's mainly because of Misty Island and the Diesel Works kind of both locates at the same time though. This is kind of like a collaboration with Misty Island Rescue and Day of the Diesels, but they're really good to be honest. But the episode itself is kind of not so great, but it manages to pull it off in the end with getting Old Wheezy fixed up. I mean, what are the main options with Den and Dart, though? But, I don't know. It probably has nothing going on at this moment. Unless if it's losing its property. I have a lot to say in common, but I'm not going to do it because there's nothing new with this episode. I mean, how odd is it when Dart goes first, and then when Den goes last? Always he's still not fixed though, covered in black smoke. Yeah, this is a great one, but not so much of a thing though. This is kind of like the fact that I don't watch the Logging Locos often. Even though they are insufferable, they still manage to make me laugh a bit. They never came back in the Brenner era, thank goodness, but still. I still wish we had them back though. But it never happened. Well. It is what it is though. The next episode will be not so good. Why? I'll tell you once we get to this next episode. You seriously made me lose my mind express coming through as an episode. How bad is it? Heck, I barely watched this one because I'm only 15 years old. Express Coming Through is probably the worst one so far because it represents Thomas rushing with the passengers. Gordon was to pick up logs from Misty Island for some reason. I mean, so Tom could have gotten Gordon the Express instead of Thomas. He would just be impatient for the party at Knapford. Speaking of that, this is really, really dumb. Not to mention, it's one of the weakest Gordon and Thomas dynamics of this episode. Even though the even though the dynamic does well, but it's very poorly as an episode. That's why it's not a good one. I'm sorry, but it's not my thing. Yeah. This isn't. This is not one I should think about trying to do. I think Percy and the Monster of Brandom is going to be a favorite. I watched the Wild Water Rescue on DVD, and it looks like it was very fine. But it looks like season 19 didn't do so well. That's okay though. I'm not really a Brenner person though. But honestly, I think season 17 might be the best one for a reason. That's why it's next after season 16 is done. But the start of the Brenner era will be in November. I can't believe it. Well, okay. Salty tells a story about the monster of Brandom. Cranky doesn't even believe there's the monster of Brandom until the fog comes in there. You should know that by now. It's the very least it can do for a reason. Oh well, I started off fine, but then I started off getting reckless there. It seems like it though. A few accidents like Edward heading straight into Rocky and Toby's poles getting pulled up by Butch for some reason. They make it weird though, but honestly they make that just fine. I'm not mad about that, but I'm kind of surprised about that episode being higher up on the list. I mean, I I don't really believe Salty was telling the story. All of this was explained to Edward, Henry, and Toby. That's what Percy told him about. Nah, but there's no monster of Brendan. And Percy thought it was Diesel that was the monster of Brendan. I mean, is that a made-up story? Or is that just made up? I think it's just both. Oh well. I've tried hard enough. I've tried hard enough, and I've tried hard again. Whatever. I'll be honest. Ho Ho Snowman is not a good one, but it certainly makes it really nice in the beginning of the episode. I mean, Charlie's fun in there, but only pretends to be a snowman. What? That's kind of dumb, though. I mean, Charlie in a snowman? That's kind of dumb, and scaring Henry off of his tender and smoke box. This episode makes it really bad. But I'm gonna be honest, it's not quite that bad though. But still, it's not a good one. I would probably prefer Percy and the Calliope over this, or possibly nothing else. Ugh, but there is no other winter episode that goes there. I'm kind of disappointed about that one. It's not a good way to do so. I kind of got disappointed there because there's nothing going on. They make that really disappointing. And it's very unfortunate too because the winter settings are amazing and the snowy visuals are great, but it's just not good. It's just not a good adaptation, and the setting does not make it comparing. That's a shame on that episode, for real. I cannot understand. The only reason Flashbang Wallet is a bad one because of how much Thomas wants to be in the picture for no reason. What? I don't understand. This episode doesn't contain much, and it's very, very bad adaptations at the last start. This is like unacceptable to do so, and very uncalled for. In order to do so, that episode is unfortunately going in the bad tier. I have nothing to say about this, other than Thomas and Percy's friendship has just finally came back in the book. In the book has came by. And you want to know who wrote that book? Mr. Perkins. Kind of like the train conductor, but don't believe me? Then go watch Flashbang Wallop. It's got like a cool adaptation, and the crashes are very bad though. I don't like them, but still, it wouldn't be a good reason to do so. I've let that down in the dust now, but that's not quite good though. It's kind of unfortunate though, but not quite there. I'm gonna get annoyed when I say Thomas and the Garbage Train is fine. Just fine. I don't know what to say about this episode. This is just fine. I have nothing to say. There's no adaptation that goes there. And there's no adaptation about garbage or rubbish if you're in the UK dub. But I still think Emily and the Garbage is much worse than this. Even though it's got good adaptations though. But probably the Rubbish Train is a better job than the one in season 11. I mean, season 11 is an overrated season. How can I not tell? It has very good episodes, but not a good reason to put that there. Well, there's nothing else happening in my mind. What's around the bend? It's just garbage getting stinky. I hope this information tells me what Thomas Toots the Crows. There's no adaptation in this one, and the Three Strikes formula is dull. But it's an okay one. I mean, the beginning is starting late with Michael Brannon's narration starting off weird. Your main process, Michael Brandon, is that he is too energetic in this one. The rhyming is the same thing. A flap and a squawk is the same thing. I can only hate myself for that, but nope, I'm not doing it. It's just very box-sided. The episode is just a shame, because I know the fact the quarry set was nice, though, but scaring Den, getting Gordon having paint on his face, and Mavis biffing into the cars is very dumb. I mean, the fact Thomas shoots the crows every time, but he chases after them. I mean, doesn't want them on Farmer McCall's field. I cannot understand there. There's more dynamics in this one than there is in another version. I'm very surprised Bust My Buffers is actually an episode. But the fact it goes in the first place right now. What an episode. The best dynamic is with Gordon and the Diesels. Gordon just busts his buffer there because it broke after hitting Diesel's flatbed. This is a great dynamic for Gordon and the Diesels. The setting mostly takes place at the Diesel Works. This is an amazing episode to make it a thing. Only to say, bust my buffers. The quote says that, but Gordon actually says that twice in a row after when his buffers fall off, and Thomas explaining that he can still chuff and puff with the diesel buffers. Yeah, I know that it's a shame though. He's a diesel, but he's not actually a diesel. He's a steamy. I mean, what's more reliable, steamies or diesels? Hard to tell though, but I don't know what to say about this. It's got great adaptations though, but sometimes steamies and diesels are not the best of friends. But they all want to be really useful. And I'm kind of honest though. The diesel's shaming on Gordon after his old buffers have broke. That is like the dumbest thing to say about that. But this episode is in first place right now. No joke for real. This is just two timings. The only reason Percy and the Calliope goes in third place is because of Percy and the Calliope. The Calliope is in this one the Duchess has managed to think about. But it was never listened again and doesn't know how it's played. Percy tries everything with the Calliope, but nope. Coal and water does nothing. And even pushing the Calliope up the hill is a very dumb reason to think about that, clearly. It's a shame, too. Oh well. I realize Percy and the Calliope is a third place winner, but nope. Percy and Diesel's dynamic is fine, but it's not really a dynamic. I'm surprised that it doesn't do anything bad in this one. Until he uses until Percy uses his cylinder to make the Calliope work again. That's probably the reason why it hasn't been working. Maybe use an engine that has a cylinder, like Percy's. Oh well. All of this has been a shocking surprise. Time to go to the next one. As soon as I find it, though. Thomas and the Sounds of Sodor goes in fourth place right now. I'm surprised that episode has been higher on the list than I thought. I used to not like it that much. But I think after rewatching it, it's a great one. But, well, honestly, it's a favorite of mine, but it shows that the famous conductor of for the concert. I mean, yeah. Any other place that has rattling noises or something. I mean, ah. I mean, the crash is almost close, but not quite there. There wasn't actually a crash. It was just the fact that the tunes were all blown away after Thomas screeched on his brakes. I mean, yeah. Guess that reason why. Your reason is guessed properly. Who doesn't need it? And your only reason, Salty Surprise as an episode, goes there. I really like that episode for some reason. Mostly because Edward is the main character, but I thought Salty was there. But it's mostly Salty, even though he doesn't celebrate Christmas in the wintertime because he works at the docks all the time and Edward wants to find a special surprise for him, but doesn't compare it much. I'm sad too because I thought Salty would like Christmas holidays as much. But this episode goes far by its best. Even its stories in the back, like a funnel, a new coat of paint, and possibly a Christmas tree. Yeah, the other engines wouldn't find Salty if he was wearing green, because he's just like the others, like a tree or something. But yeah, this is a great one. I'm not like a winter person, but Christmas is one of my favorite holidays there. If your favorite holiday is Christmas, that's fine. If it's not, then comment below what it is, and then I'll find it. Yeah, I can finally realize the fact why I like this episode so much. It mainly focuses on Edward and Salty. No dynamic, just Edward wanting to find a present for Salty. And it ends up to becoming a story. A Salty story. Even Sir Topham Hatt dressed up as Santa Claus. How amazing is that, though? Ah, well. On to the next one. I hope your main reason Soda Surprise Day is in the bad tier. That's mainly because of Thomas wanting to try and scare Gordon. It's Soda Surprise Day. Who gives a crap about that? Gordon doesn't even get surprised there. Or laugh as well. I mean, tried everything. I mean, mostly an idiot. Thomas is mostly an idiot in this one. Not my subscribers, but I don't know. That's mainly because of how stupid Thomas was. And the main purpose. Why does he want to try and scare Gordon? He nearly ruined the fireworks. And he nearly ruined the party for, like, a castle or something. I mean, the ending is very, very fabulous, but that doesn't make it good. It's a bad one. And it has a bad adaptation as well. Salty Surprise at least had a good adaptation, even though the story was poorly executed. Ugh, but whatever. Moanly, it's moaning. James to the Rescue has a bad adaptation as well, but Soda Surprise Day actually has a fine adaptation, even though the plot is very boring. That's enough for that for now. Let's just move on to another episode that requires a wintry season. It's your main typical plot with Emily's Winter Party special. And this one is not a good one for some reason. That's mainly because Emily has no job. I mean, Emily just wants to get a job, but doesn't. Until the wind blows Sir Topham Hatt's top hat off his head. I mean, it is hilarious to see that though, but nothing going on there. Your episode makes it, my boys. Whatever. Mainly because of how weird the plot takes. Whatever. It's only for a matter of time, though. I get disappointed all the time, though, for some reason. Mainly because the plot is a bit basic. The stuff Money Matters only has a good requirement, and I actually like it for some reason. It's like barely there in the okay tier. Mainly because James doesn't want to get his paint ruined. Or his... Yeah, he doesn't want his paint to get ruined because it would be a muddy journey to go there. Either takes the bumpy way or actually manages to lose the animals for the picture. The only reason, if he the muddy track is the quickest way to go instead of taking the dry ones that has like bumpy tracks or something like Sagacity or something. Even though Sagacity is not quite a thing on the track, it's a made up way to say. Other than that, this is not much of a thing though. What can I say about this episode? Money Matters is a good one, but honestly, not a bad start for this. And I'll be honest, their episodes make quite a difference. Yeah, that's quite a thing. Let's move on. I'll be honest though, Whip Switch had nothing to do with the plot. It's just Whiff mainly wanting to be like Spencer, being grand. But no, it's more poorly. It's very unfortunate too. I've had like a basic plot going on. If you are wondering why voices are heard, it's just my brother speaking. Whatever. More likely, the plot has more basic things. I mean, Henry and the Wishing Tree had a good plot, but it was badly executed there. That's why I didn't know much about it. That's more in the region. Hmm. I mean, what is the plot about this anyway? There isn't any plot that has mainly because Whiff has just been collecting garbage all day. There's nothing going on. Whatever. I think we'll mainly get to our next episode that is much better, but not by much though. Welcome Stafford has a great adaptation, and it goes there. I mean, the reason Stafford is an electrical engine instead of either a steamy or a diesel. Spencer doesn't realize that Stafford is an electrical engine and has a battery that charges. I mean, the fact Spencer wants to show Stafford all the sights on Sodor. He first takes him to the Sodor Search and Rescue Center, but was nowhere to be seen because he was charging the battery. And then goes to Misty Island, but left him behind again and charged up with the battery again. And then finally, Spencer takes the Duke and Duchess to see Stafford, still charging up an electrical battery. And then finally, Spencer is out of coal and water from all from going all over the island. How silly is Spencer in this one? He's the main character in this one. Even though Misty Island is a great place to go. But still, it doesn't matter. This episode was poorly there. An episode that reaches there, it's finally the time to think clearly. We got a narrow gauge episode, finally. Don't Bother Victor is great. It's going in second place so far. I can't believe it. Don't Bother Victor goes in second place at this moment. The only reason it goes there is because an amazing way to say Peter Sam in charge. That's most likely because Sir Handel, Scarloey, and Duncan, well, he wasn't really included there. It's just mostly Sir Handel and Scarloey. I mean, Sir Handel tries to fix Sir Handel and Scarloey. First, Peter Sam tries to fix Sir Handel with oil, even though there's a creaking, a rattling, and a moaning. So unrealistic, though. Mainly, it's because Peter Sam has no idea what he did. And then Scarloey has like a funnel problem or something. And mostly because Peter Sam has nothing to do and has no brain cells because he doesn't want Rheneas to go bother Victor, even if he's busy or something. It's a shame too because it has amazing sets though, even though it doesn't go in second place though. I like all the narrow gauge episodes except for Scarloey the Brave, which is one of the worst episodes of the narrow gauge ones. All by Push Me Pull You. The basic way. It's very poor and it's very literally bad. Man, it's a shame that never happened there. Stop.
What?
Go. I'm in the middle of recording.
Oh.
Sorry guys, that was my brother. I got annoyed at him though because I didn't realize he entered into my room for no reason. Alright, back to what I was saying. So Peter Sam has no brain cells going on. He runs out of coal because he was all over the island trying to see where Duncan is. And then, yeah. Peter Sam realized that he needs Victor. But Renee still denies it. But then comes back and got Victor. And finally, Victor got Cole for Peter Sam. And then fixed Scarloi's funnel and Sir Handel's rattling and his creaking. This is finally the reason why I like this episode so much. It goes in second place so far. That's a great way to do so. Happy Birthday, Sir is actually going in first place for some reason. I don't know why it goes in first place, but it's mainly because Sir Topham Hatt. The amazing dynamics between this episode is amazing. Your whole main plot of this sentence, Happy Birthday, Sir! Winston is in this one, and he's probably one of my favorite road vehicles. It's amusing and very sweet to say. And I finally remembered why I like this episode so much. That mainly focuses on Winston trying to find something, even though Edward was remembering back in the old days when Sir Topham Hatt was little. And Edward was the oldest engine on Sodor. Remembering he was riding on that carriage. That's a good reason to say so. But I'm gonna be honest though. What would a caterpillar? Well, no, not a caterpillar. What would a carriage be like? It's been left in the woods all along. Whatever. Mostly because of how weird it gets too. I finally remember why I like this one so much. But it goes in first place at this moment right now. Let's move on to our last one. This mainly focuses on our final episode. The Christmas Tree Express is in fourth place right now. And a great way to finish off the season 16. It mainly collaborates with Blue Mountain Mystery and Misty Island Rescue. But I'm going to be honest, Blue Mountain Mystery is not my favorite though, because it has very poor settings. I mean, the Blue Mountain Mystery, Blue Mountain's Quarry is an amazing setting to get to. I'll give it that. And the songs are pretty cool, but mostly Blue Mountain Mystery because it's in first place, but still, this episode has rights to do so. How is Toby scared of going onto Misty Island? He's been there before in the episode Toby and Bash from season 15. Toby's a wimpy coward in this one. Yeah, he's kind of wimpy and scared. I mean, taking Rheneas onto Misty Island, it's a cool way to do so, finding a Christmas tree for his friends at the quarry. But none of them realize about the holidays. That's the only reason why I put that there. It's a shame that it was not in first place back then. Nothing goes wrong with this episode plot. It's just how odd it gets. Yeah, Express coming through is the worst episode for some reason. I don't know how I said any of this could be happening. This mainly focuses on Thomas. Even though Toby was the main character in this one, or if Rheneas was the main character, I'm gonna say that I never picked any character that was the main person. It's okay though. I tried too hard. Well, that's all the rankings from season 16, the last season of the Miller era. Let's go ahead and rank them all one by one from worst to best. Coming in at last place is Express coming through. It's a good reason for Thomas Norton to have a dynamic version, but the whole episode is so bad. Number 19 is Race to the Rescue. Your main typical plot of Flynn is afraid that he's going to be late for the fire. Oh, what a surprise. Number 18 is Sodor Surprise Day. What a shame that it doesn't manage to get a good plot there. The ending sequence is very hilarious. Thomas finally scares Gordon. And, yeah, a surprise. Number 17 is Flashbang Wallop. Nothing to say about this one, other than that it's not quite good. Number 16 is Whiff's Wish. The main plot focuses on Whiff. Number 15 is Ho Ho Snowman. Not a good reason to do so. Mainly Charlie is an idiot because of how stupid tries to make Henry laugh, but instead he's scared and runs away. Both winter episodes actually go there. Speaking of that, number 14 is Emily's Winter Party Special. What a typical way to do so. The plot of this one is a weird one. The night settings is very underrated. Okay, maybe number 13 we'll get to Thomas Toots the Crows. And it does have a good adaptation though, but the crows make a lot of noise. Same for animals. Number 12 is Thomas and the Garbage Train, or Rubbish Train if you're in the UK though. The main plot Thomas doesn't want to become stinky steamy like Diesel thought about telling him, which I forgot about mentioning that. Okay, so far we have 1, 2, 3, okay, so 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Alright, number 11 is Money Matters. I kind of like that episode, mainly because James doesn't want to get dirty for the picture. Number 10 is Welcome Stafford. This is an unknown reason why I like this episode so much. Mainly because Stafford is a new engine and is electrical. Number 9 is Salty Surprise. An unknown reason for a Salty episode. Even though Salty is not the main character, Edward just wants to give Salty a surprise. Number 8 is Old Wheezy Wobbles. A great Misty Island episode for an unknown reason, but still. Number 7 is Thomas and the Sounds of Sodor. A great way to have a start. Even though Wild Water Rescue, the DVD was a great one. Percy and the Calliope as the number 6. Great reason to say so. The only reason it goes in number 6, because it wasn't in 4th place before. Number 5, Percy and the Monster of Brendam. 2 Percy episodes that go in the favorites for some reason. And it mainly focuses on Salty's story about the Monster of Brendam. Number 4 is the Christmas Tree Express. Mainly because the Blue Mountain set and the Misty Island set visuals are both brilliant. Still though. Number 3 is Don't Bother Victor. 3rd best episode of the Narrow Gauge season. It's just the season of narrow gauge engines. Number 2 is Bust My Buffers. And your typical plot, Gordon is missing his buffers. And number 1 is Happy Birthday, Sir. Mainly because the plot is executed by Thomas. Alright guys, thank you all for watching this video. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will do a Season 17 ranking on November. We'll see you guys then. Bye guys!